Thank you. All right, then I will call two related Dallam County cases. In that case, we have Mr. Alvey for the department. We have Costa with us. Mr. Turner is with us as attorney ad litem for the child. Mr. Adams is with us representing an unknown father. Ms. Kincaid is with us representing the mother, Ms. Pastor, who is with us. The father, Isaiah, and I can't pronounce the last name again. He is incarcerated. Mr. Adams' client is incarcerated also with an ICE hold on him. So, Mr. Adams, I assume we're not expecting your client.
No, Your Honor. I think he was moved from the Dallam County Jail to ICE.
Okay.
And I was unable to find him with ICE. Okay.
That's a hard thing to do. I've had that come up before. So, okay, this is in the interest of Ms. Pastor. In that case, she is the child and not the mother, as in the other case. Mr. Alvey's with us for the department. Again, Costa is with us. Ms. Kincaid is with us representing the child as ad litem. Ms. Pastor. Mr. Barfield is with us representing the father. I'll just call him by his first name, Gennaro. He is not with us. I don't think he's been with us before. Mr. Barfield, were you expecting him?
Well, we sent everything. He did come into the office last week. If he doesn't show up, I think I'm prepared to proceed, at least for today's hearing. He has the links. Of course, he does not speak English. He has a relative that we've been able to communicate with him from. If he doesn't show up, then he doesn't show up for today's hearing.
Okay. All right, I believe that's everybody. Give me just a second. I've got to respond to Haley on a text. Okay. They are in. So, Mr. Alvey, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will begin with Miss Erin Stevens. Miss Stevens, you're a St. Francis Ministries Permanency.
Yes.
In that capacity, you are familiar with Kay, child, the subject of this suit?
Yes.
Kay is 11 months old and currently in a foster home in Hemp Hill County, Texas.
Yes.
And is that placement meeting all of her needs at this time?
Yes.
Any special issues or special needs with this child that we need to make the court aware of today?
She does participate in ECI services due to being a little bit behind. She qualified for social emotional services through ECI, and so she's working on that, and she's doing very well.
Ms. Stevens, the placement's making sure that Kay gets to all of the appointments that she needs to make?
Yes.
Kay's mother is Thor?
Yes.
And she is also currently in care?
Yes.
And she's been offered a series of services and been ordered to work those services. Has she begun working her services?
The ones that she can, she's done a psychological and she's working on therapy due to her location and her circumstances to going to school full time, still being a child. It does make it difficult, but we are trying to start getting things rolling, but she's doing what she can.
She has also some psychological impediments to doing a whole lot of things quickly. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay. But she's actually doing better since she's been in care and trying to take advantage of all the circumstances that she can.
Yes.
Is she exercising or been able to exercise visits with Kay?
Yes.
And are those in person or virtual?
She has them virtually every week. In October, she did have an in-person visit, and I believe it was 3 hours long. And then I believe this month she'll also have an in-person visit since she'll be off from school.
And those in-person, with that in-person visit in October, did it go well?
Yes.
However, because she's in care, because there are some issues, it would still be contrary to Kay's general welfare to return Kay to her mother at this time.
Yes.
Child's father is Isaiah Ralio Javier, and he was in the Dallam County Jail, but he may have been moved because of an ICE hold. Is that your understanding?
As far as I know, he's still in Dallam County. When the last time I spoke to him, he did not have a court date or anything, but he is still on an ICE hold.
Can you tell me when the last time you had contact with him was?
I believe it was in October. I don't know the exact date.
Because he's in the Dallam County Jail, there are limited resources for him to work any services.
Yes.
And at this point in time, it's unreasonable to assume that he will be out in any time to be able to take care of the child in the near future.
Yes.
So would you agree with me that it would be unsafe to return Kay to his care, and contrary to her general welfare, to return her Kay to his care at this time?
Yes.
Are you asking then that the department be continued as temporary managed conservator of Kay, and that the placement be continued where the child is currently placed?
Yes.
And all that would be in the best interest of the child?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll pass witness.
All right, this may have been covered, Ms. Stevens, but as far as Kay's involved, would it be unsafe? Would it be a danger to Kay's physical safety to be returned to either parent today?
Yes.
And in our other case where Ms. Pastor is the child, would it be unsafe to return her to either, I guess, to her father today?
For Sinida?
Yes.
I got to call Ms. Herrera to cover all of the mother's issues. That's the reason I had 2 caseworkers in this case.
Okay. All right. Well, she said yes. I've got in what I needed. Okay. I'm just going to go down the list on Kay's case. Ms. Kincaid, did you have questions?
Just briefly, Your Honor. What grade is Sinada in?
I'm not her caseworker.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Yeah.
So far as Kay is concerned, Sinada has attended her visitations as she's supposed to.
Yes.
And her actual service plan, she's been cooperative with you.
Yes.
And has she stayed in contact with you?
Yes, as much as she can. There's a language barrier and then her being in care, but yes.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Adams.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Stevens, if I were to tell you that the Dallam County Jail advised me that she was released to ICE on October 24th, would you have any reason to dispute that?
No.
Okay, so you haven't tried to contact him since that date, is that?
No, I saw him before then. I was out the week prior to that, so it was before that I talked to him.
Okay, I just wanted to make you aware of that as well.
Okay.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Grant.
Nothing additional.
All right, thank you. Mr. Turner.
Ms. Stevens, Sinada is currently placed where?
I'm not her caseworker.
Okay, but she's not. She's placed, I think, in a facility, correct? In a residential treatment center.
Yes.
Is she, to your knowledge, currently taking parent classes in her case where she is a mother?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay, so she hasn't started any parenting classes or anything like that?
No, just therapy and then her psychological.
So she, to your knowledge, is busy kind of working through some services on her behalf as a child who's in care.
Yes.
Okay. As far as Kay's health is concerned, do you have any concerns as far as Kay's health? How is she doing health-wise?
She's doing very well. She's very healthy. She has some allergies, nothing crazy. Other than that, she doesn't have any issues, very healthy.
Okay. Developmentally, does she appear to be on track from a developmental target standpoint?
She is a little bit behind with her talking. She did regress a little bit she was babbling and then stopped a little bit. And then she had some issues with like latching on with her bottle. That has improved. And then they're also working on walking and like crawling and stuff like that. And she has improved a little bit, but she does still receive ECI services.
Okay. And how long has she been, and is the ECI for socialization and those regards, correct?
Yes.
And how long has she been doing that?
I believe I think it's been since July or August.
And has she improved in those regards because of those services, or are there other
Yes.
things that the department is looking at having her, seen up for?
No, she continues to improve.
But clearly, and as your testimonies earlier to Mr. Alvey was, it's unsafe, and it would not be appropriate to return Kay to Senada, who is working through a case as a child in care of her own, correct?
Correct.
And she's just not equipped to care for Kay at this time.
Correct.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Anyone else have further questions for Ms. Stevens?
No, sir.
Ms. Stevens, at a hearing way back in June, I'd ordered paternity testing for the father of Kay, Mr. Kalichi, however you pronounce his name. Has that ever been accomplished?
Yes, I believe I filed it when the case was brought to me, and it was confirmed that he is the father.
Okay. Mr. Albee, I don't know that I've ever adjudicated him that I can see in my own notes. Or did I sign an order?
You have not, Your Honor, and I was going to ask you to do that today. We have filed the paternity testing. We've sent a proposed agreed order to Mr. Adams, but I believe Mr. Adams has had difficulty finding his client, so he couldn't get it signed. But we would ask that you adjudicate Mr. Javier as the father.
Okay. All right, then we can, if no one else has further questions for Ms. Stevens, then I guess we can move on to the case where Ms. Pastor is the child. Mr. Albee, your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would call Ms. Marissa Herrera. And where is she currently placed?
She's in an RTC in Dallas, Texas.
And is that placement meeting all of her needs at this time?
Yes.
You and I talked about her case a couple of weeks ago, and you said that most of the behaviors that Zendaya was having prior to the removal have been alleviated by being placed in the current placement. Is that correct?
Yes.
However, she has had psychological evaluation that shows that she has some learning disabilities or some IQ issues.
Yes.
And there's also some immigration issues to do with Senada at this time.
Yes.
We have some hope that we might be able to get some of those immigration issues alleviated if we're able to be named as permanent managing conservator of Senada without her having any parental rights at this time. Is that right?
Yes.
So her mother is deceased, correct?
Yes.
And her father, Donato, is where, I mean, he had custody of her, but he's advised us that he's not interested in having her back in his house at this time.
Yes.
So we're hoping that he will agree to voluntarily relinquish his parental rights to help us with immigration issues.
Yes.
So we have a final in this case scheduled in a couple of weeks on the 5th of December. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
In the meantime, it would not be safe for Zenada to be returned to Gennaro at this time.
Yes.
And it would be against her general welfare to do so.
Yes.
So are you asking that the court continue this case as a temporary case until we can have our final hearing next month?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. As far as Gennaro's concerned, I show him alleged. Does it have any bearing on immigration issues? Do we need to have him paternity tested, or does it matter?
Judge, I think he's going to agree to be adjudicated, and then it's my understanding he's going to waive his interest or relinquish his parental rights. And the reason that we're doing that is because we need to get her in the permanent managing conservator without any parental rights. And I think it's cleaner if we can get him to be adjudicated. We're going to do all that, we hope, on the 5th.
All right, Mr. Barfield, do you think he's on board with that?
I sure hope so, Judge. That's what I'm just going to tell you right now, based upon, I filed a motion for continuance that I am hereby withdrawing today. I have been brought up to speed. And I'm hoping that will be the result, Judge, based upon the information I've learned. I did meet with him last week in my office. Based on the information that I've learned, I think that is the direction I'm hoping to go. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I will note that both these cases have dismissal dates of June, so we've got some time to play with it if we need to. So,
yes.
Okay, Mr. Barfield, did you have any questions for Ms. Herrera?
I do not, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Grant, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Kincaid?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Then
Judge,
anything?
Judge,
Yeah.
if it please the court, I just want to point out that Zenaida's birthday is December, and she'll turn 18. That's the reason we're pushing for that December 5th date.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to announce that for both cases, but we've got some, if in the other case, even if we've got some issues, we've got time to handle them. So,
Thank
all
you.
right. Anything else from the department?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
All right. So in case, Ms. Kincaid, did you have any witnesses?
I do not, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Adams, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Grant?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Turner?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Turner, recommendations as far as case concerned.
As far as in case, I would recommend that the department be maintained as the temporary managing conservator and that her placement be continued.
All right. Thank you. And CASA, anything to add as far as case concerned?
Nothing to add, Your Honor. We're in agreement with that.
All right. All right. Then in Zenaida's case, Mr. Barfield, did you have any witnesses?
I do not, Your Honor.
Ms. Grant?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Kincaid?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Then Ms. Kincaid, your recommendations as far as Zenaida's case.
The department be named temporary managing conservator, and hopefully we can get that relinquishment on file so that we can continue to assist her.
All right. Ms. Ledbetter, does CASA have anything to add as far as Zenaida is concerned?
Nothing to add, Your Honor. We also agree with Ms. Kincaid.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Then first in case, I find that Isaiah Caliche, the presumed father, is in fact the biological father, and I will establish that parent-child relationship today. Excuse me. I will continue the department's temporary managing conservator, and I will continue case current placement. In Zenaida's case, I will continue the department's temporary managing conservator and continue Zenaida's current placement. In both cases, I'll set finals for December 5th, 2023. Those finals will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance of December 5th to see exactly what time we'll have here. Mr. Albie's with us for the department. CASA is with us. Ms. Christie is with us representing the father, Mr. Martinez, who is with us. Ms. Grant is with us representing the mother, Ms. Macias, who is with us. Mr. Barfield, the child's attorney, is not with us. I'm on a short fuse this morning. We're going to go ahead without him. I don't know where he was. He was in our first hearing.
And where is she currently placed?
She's placed with her father in Dallas, Texas.
And is that placement meeting all of her needs?
Yes, they are.
Is he making sure that she makes all of her appointments, including counseling, medical, dental, etc.?
Yes, sir.
Any special issues or special needs that we need to make the court aware of today?
No, sir.
Child's mother is Michaela Macias. Is she working the services that she was ordered to work?
Yes, sir.
Has she completed any or all of those services?
Yes, I believe the only one we're waiting on is individual counseling, which should be completed this week. Otherwise, all other services have been completed.
Child is in Dallas. Miss Macias is in Stratford. Is that right?
She's currently in Cactus, Texas.
And has mom been able to exercise any visits with Giselle at this time?
No, sir.
Tell me why she's not exercising any visits.
Giselle has been a little apprehensive to visit with mom, and fears of who else might be in that visit. I know Giselle's therapist has been working with her on opening that communication line with mom. And that's we're going on the therapist recommendation on when to start those visits.
Would you agree with me then that it would be contrary to Giselle's general welfare to return her to Miss Macias at this time?
At this time, yes.
And it would therefore be unsafe?
Yes, sir.
Child's father is Alvaro Martinez, and Giselle is currently in his care. Is he also been ordered to work services?
Yes, we've ordered family counseling for them.
And is he working those services?
Yes, sir.
Is there any reason that we would want to change that placement at this time?
No, sir.
Are you asking then that we continue this? The department is temporary managing conservators of this child until a final can be heard?
Yes, sir.
Pass witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Ms. Grant.
Ma'am, are the parents still struggling to co-parent and communicate with each other?
Yes, ma'am, at this time.
In fact, would you agree with me that it may be necessary to implement some co-parenting classes in this case?
Yes, I did recommend that in my report.
Okay, and I did not receive a filed copy of your report. Could you email a copy of that to me at your convenience?
Yes, ma'am.
And have there been some concerns noted through the FGCs that the father is not supporting Giselle's need to visit with the mother so long as no outside personnel are present or involved in those visits and a therapist approves the visit?
I believe Alvaro's on track with us by the therapist recommendation of if she feels Giselle is ready to do so.
Okay. Are there any other concerns besides the inability to co-parent that the parents need to address?
No, ma'am.
And at the point that Giselle is concerned about another party being present at the visits, it's specifically the ex girlfriend or spouse of the mother, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so are you aware that mother agrees and that that person should not be present and requesting that the court order, in fact, today that that person not be present or have any contact with Giselle?
Yes, ma'am.
If it hasn't already been. Okay. And all action going forward should be done through a therapeutic environment, correct?
Yes.
Do you have any updates for the court as far as the therapist's position on further services that could be provided to Giselle to get her in a place where visitation could be attempted?
At this time, I don't have an update. We did send a letter and pictures from mom for the therapist to read with Giselle and go over. However, I have not heard back from the therapist on how that went yet.
Okay, but that effort is in progress to ensure that we're following therapist recommendations and moving forward. Would you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the parents at this time, due to their inability to co-parent, don't even do FGCs at the same time. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So dad has a separate FGC from mom's FGC, and they are not privy to each other's progress, correct?
That is correct.
Would you agree with me that doing FGCs with both parents present would go a long ways in the co-parenting effort?
Yes, I do.
Are you asking today that the court order that the parents actively participate in the same FGC and attempt to co-parent and communicate in this matter?
I do.
And in fact, when mother's present in FGCs, dad refuses to answer questions, correct?
Yes, without his attorney present.
Okay. Pass the witness, Judge.
Okay. Ms. Christie?
And have they ever had an FGC together or a family group conference together that you're aware of?
We started we call them permanency conferences. We did start our first one together and then had to split it up because of some conflicts in that permanency conference.
And you meet regularly with Mr. Martinez, right?
I speak with him monthly. There is a courtesy worker in that region that meets with him monthly, face to face.
Okay. And has Mr. Martinez done everything to comply with everything that you've asked of him?
On his service plan, yes.
And has he allowed you to have visits with Giselle?
Yes.
All right. And so you also see Giselle monthly, or does the courtesy worker do that?
The courtesy worker also does that.
All right. You indicated that the mom moved to Cactus. When did she move to Cactus?
At the very beginning of the case.
Is she working?
Yes, ma'am.
And where does she work?
She works at the Pilot gas station.
In Cactus?
In Stratford.
In Stratford, okay. And as far as you know, is mom still residing with her spouse?
No, that's why she moved to Cactus. She resides with her mother.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Anyone else have further questions for this witness?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Alvey, anything further from the department?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
Thank you. Ms. Grant, any witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor, just the request that I made through the questioning of the witness as for the parents to start doing FGCs together so they can share information regarding the child and do co-parenting classes.
All right, thank you. Ms. Christie, any witnesses?
Your Honor, I'll call my client, Mr. Martinez. Thank you. Mr. Martinez, are you in any way hindering Giselle's ability to visit with her mother?
No.
And in fact, are you encouraging Giselle to write her mother letters?
Yes.
And are those letters being provided to the therapist or sent directly to Miss Macias?
Yes.
So you've sent the letters to Miss Macias?
No, we have not personally sent the letters. So every letter that Giselle has written, when Reba, our caseworker, has come, she's read the letters. Giselle, the first couple letters that I had Giselle write, because she stated she missed her mom, but refused to get on the phone with her, and actually became upset when I kind of pushed the issue. So I said, you know what, why don't we sit down and write mom a letter? And you don't have to send it until you're ready. So she calmed down. She was okay with that. And so Ms. Reba read the letter. And so she said when she was ready, she would give those to the therapist and then send them to Tori, and then Tori would give them to mom. Matter of fact, the address Giselle has right now to send letters is Tori's address, not mom's address.
Okay, so are you well, you recently changed jobs, right?
Yes.
And that has enabled your wife to be a stay-at-home mom?
Yes.
All right. And so she stays home, she takes care of Giselle, and y'all have another child as well, correct?
No, just Giselle at this moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
No, you're good.
I was confused. So
You're good.
sorry. And so your wife stays home and she is a stay-at-home mom.
Yes.
And did you get Giselle enrolled in school this year?
Yes.
What grade is she in?
Fourth.
And how's she doing in school?
She's doing immaculate. She's evolved. She's involved in so much stuff that she keeps us busy even on the weekend.
So, and you also have her enrolled in some extracurricular activities in your area?
Yes, ma'am.
Is she doing well in your home?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Alvey,
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Grant.
Mr. Martinez, do you understand that as the parent having custody that you need to communicate information about the child to the mom when able?
Sure.
Okay. Would you agree with me that an opportunity to communicate information about the child occurs in the permanency hearings?
Yes, when it is just the mom.
Okay. And so your actual problem with the permanency hearings is that you don't like the mom bringing her attorney to the permanency hearings, correct?
Negative. Incorrect.
Okay. What is your issue with communicating with the mother during permanency hearings?
I have no problem communicating when it's with Michaela when it's Michaela. It's the permanency hearings. If it's me and Michaela, that's fine. But when it's me versus Michaela and her sister and everybody wants to talk over me, then we have a problem. We're there to talk about Giselle, not bash each other. And that's exactly what happened during the first one.
Okay, tell me when the sister has ever been in a permanency hearing, Your Honor, sir.
The very first permanency hearing.
Your Honor, I'm going to object.
Okay.
I think that Ms. Grant is talking about the permanency conferences,
Yeah.
not the hearings.
Right. I've never seen a sister in our hearings.
Make sure that
I'm sorry.
everybody's on the.
I'm sorry if I'm
Y'all
saying
are talking over each other.
I mean permanency conferences. I would draw the word hearing, Your Honor. Sir, are you aware that the first meeting was actually the family group conference to establish support systems and a permanency conference?
No.
So would it make things different?
You're breaking up, Ms. Grant. I can't hear you.
Permanency conferences do not involve the family. A better connection, Judge. Sir, would it make any difference to you?
Let me kind of short circuit this. I'm going to take care of the family group conferences. I'm going to take care of that in the order today. So.
Okay. So, sir, if the judge orders the family group conferences, you have no problem complying with the judge's orders, correct?
Not a problem at all.
Okay, pass the witness.
All right, thank you. All right, anyone else have further questions for Mr. Martinez?
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Christie, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor. Father rests.
All right, thank you. Mr. Barfield's not with us, so Casa, do you have anything to add?
We would just recommend that Giselle remain in her current placement in the department, be maintained as temporary managing conservator, and probably a co-parenting class as well.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, then based on what I've heard, I will continue the department's temporary managing conservator, continue Giselle's current placement. I'll order that Ms. Macias's visitation be as directed and recommended by Giselle's therapist. I'm going to order co-parenting classes for both parents. I'm going to order that Giselle have no contact of any type with Susan Tucker. And I'm going to order that both parents participate and attend in the family group conferences. I know family group conferences means family, but yeah, from what I've heard from Mr. Martinez, I don't think we need anybody there but the parents. We don't need any sisters or anyone else to show up and cause trouble. So even though that's kind of contrary to what family group conference means, we need to see how these parents get along without outside influences. So Okay, I'll set our next review hearing for March 8th, 2024. That will be by Zoom like today's hearings, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance to see exactly what time we'll
Like,
have.
I
that
have
hearing.
court and I am going to Lubbock today, so I guess I'll do it at 10 o'clock tonight. No, it'd be much, yeah. If you told us on Monday,
Corey, you're
Yeah.
still on in this. You might mute yourself.
I guess I'm not.
Hearing, what is it, Miss Christie?
Okay, Cody asked me at the last minute, I mean, during the last hearing, if I would fill in at the 10:15 hearing. Well,
Yes, ma'am.
that's the companion case that you severed from
Mhm.
Mr. Martinez's case, so I can't do that. I have a conflict. I mean, he's wanting me to represent the mom in that case, and I believe that's a conflict for me. So I'm going to tell him I can't do that. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. You definitely would have a conflict.
Sorry, sir.
Let me see here.
Judge, I can find a new attorney for her to sub out.
Do what?
I can appoint a new attorney in her place.
In whose place?
Donna Christie's.
She's just covering for Cody Pirtle in the Tucker.
Oh, I
case.
see. I see what you're saying. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Problem is, we really need to have the permanency hearing before probably around November 21st, and that's not going to happen. No, that can't happen. I'm not available until after the 21st. I don't know. I guess I'll just call the case, and if Miss Tucker's not comfortable going forward, then we need to get on Cody Pirtle and see where he is and why he's not here. We can always hear it after we conclude the 10:30 case, but you know how I feel about that, Haley.
I'll reach out to Lynlena and see if we can get him on.
Okay. Tell her I would strongly suggest that he work around it.
Okay.
He's definitely on the list.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've talked about that list. As long
I
as
know.
I'm on it, I'm okay.
That list is getting longer and longer. May end up there's just about 3 or 4 of us holding all these hearings. We're here on a placement review after final order. Ms. Schulte's with us for the department. Casa is with us, and Ms. Grant is with us as the child's lawyer, Josiah's lawyer. All right. Ms. Schulte, who do you have as a witness?
Kayla Martinez.
And Your Honor, sorry to interrupt, but I just got a request and an update from Mr. Pirtle, and I can fill in for him on the hearing that you have next and get that moving as well.
Okay, I appreciate that. I'll put you, when we get back to that one, I'll put you in a breakout room with his client, Ms. Tucker. All right, let's go ahead and knock this one out. And I'm trying to see, Ms. Schulte, who's your witness? Oh, Miss Martinez. There she is. I tell everybody this is like Hollywood Squares. Everybody's bouncing all over my I can't keep up with them. All right, Ms. Schulte.
How old is Josiah?
I just went blank. Let me make sure. He's 14 years old.
Where is he placed?
He is placed with Mary Cardenas, which is a kinship placement in Amarillo.
How long has he been there?
He has been there since 9/29 of this year.
How is that placement going so far?
It's going well. He is very happy to be placed there. He's adjusting well. It seems like he's blossomed being there.
Do we have any medical concerns as to Josiah?
No, ma'am.
Is he on any psychotropic medications? Looks like he's taking a few for ADHD.
Yes, ma'am.
Do those appear to be helping him?
Yes, ma'am.
How is he doing in school?
He's doing well. There has not been anything reported by the placement as to, you know, him doing otherwise. He is enrolled in a baseball period. He's speaking A's and B's. I just think overall he's doing well in school and in the placement.
What is his permanency plan?
It is to be adopted by Ms. Cardenas.
Is she working on the licensing process?
Not as of right now. A kinship worker was just assigned to her, but they will work on the process with her.
Is there anything else you feel the court needs to know about Josiah today?
No, ma'am.
Are you asking the court approve his current placement and the permanency plan and continue the department as his permanent managing conservator?
Yes, ma'am.
A past witness.
All right, thank you. Ms. Grant?
Nothing additional, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Schulte, anything further from the department?
Nothing further.
All right. Ms. Grant, recommendations?
Just recommend that the department continue as permanent managing conservator and that this continue to be processed through completion.
Okay, I didn't get much of that other than continue placement. You're breaking
Did I cut out again, Your Honor?
Yeah, very badly. So, okay, I will.
Maybe that's better. I got closer to my router.
I will continue the department's permanent managing conservator, continue Josiah's current placement. I'll set the next review hearing if needed for May 10th, 2024. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance to see what time we'll have that hearing. Okay, that will conclude this hearing. We'll get back to the Tucker initial permanency hearing. If you were on the Deaf Smith County Marino case, and Ms. Grant, you're staying on to help us with that one, and I thank you for that. Otherwise, y'all can drop off. Ms. Grant has agreed to cover for Mr. Pirtle, so I'm going to put Ms. Grant and Ms. Tucker in a breakout room so that they can kind of talk about what's going on. I will tell you that from what I've read, it looks like everything's going well. The child is doing well. Mother seems to be working her services, doing very well on working her services. So, Ms. Grant, just to let you know that there shouldn't be any surprises. Mr. Alvey's with us for the department. Costa's with us. Ms. Kincaid is with us representing the child. Mr. Michelson is with us representing the unknown father. And now Ms. Grant is filling in for Mr. Pirtle representing the mother, Ms. Tucker, who is also with us. All right. Mr. Alvey, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would call Ms. Toy Cook. Where is Leslie currently placed?
She's in a foster home in Canyon, Texas.
And is that placement meeting all of her needs?
Yes, sir.
Any special issues or special needs that have arisen that we need to make the court aware of today?
No, sir.
Child's mother is Susan Tucker.
Yes, sir.
And Miss Tucker was ordered to work services through a service plan. Has she begun working those services?
Yes, she has completed all services except for one, and that's being held up on our end.
And what is the one service that's being held up?
That is her OSAR drug and alcohol assessment. We have to get a provider confirmed in Oklahoma since that's where she resides.
This case originated out of Sherman County, but Miss Tucker has, since the removal, moved to Oklahoma.
Yes, sir.
And because of that, there are some services that we have to work towards finding substitutes in Oklahoma.
Correct.
And the OSAR evaluation and any recommendations following that is one of those services that we have not been able to get substituted because she's in Oklahoma.
Yes, sir.
In addition, though the court may place the child with mom without an ICPC home study, we would like to have an ICPC home study done on Ms. Tucker's current home.
Yes, and I have submitted that.
Can you tell us when you submitted that?
Sure.
That's okay, Ms. Cook. In any event,
it was last month. But...
Okay. And have you had any results back from that ICPC home study at this time?
I did get an email asking for further documentation on mom's services, and I did send them the updates on that, but that is all I've gotten back so far.
Okay. Ms. Tucker has alleged that Mr. Jason Childress is the father of Leslie.
Yes.
Have we been able to track the Jason Childress, who's the alleged father, down?
Actually, I just found last week an LinkedIn profile, but I'm not able to contact him through that.
And
I'm sorry, what was the last name? I didn't hear that.
Childress, Your Honor.
Just like Childress, Texas?
Yes.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
So you haven't had any luck actual finding a person. We've just possibly found a new address.
Just a LinkedIn address, not an actual physical address.
Are you asking the court then to allow us to post for service on Mr. Childress, since we've done diligent service or actions trying to find him?
Yes, sir.
In the meantime, would you agree with me that because there are some services that need to be completed, and because we still would like to have an ICPC home study, that it would be contrary to Leslie's general welfare to return her to either parent at this time?
Yes, sir.
And it would not be safe to return her to either parent at this time?
Yes.
Are you asking then that the court continue the department as temporary managing conservator, and that we continue placement while we finish up Ms. Tucker's services?
Yes.
Vice Witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Grant?
Ms. Cook, is there anything you need from Susan that you have not received thus far?
I did tell her to send me her NA and AA sign-in sheets, but other than that, no, she's been compliant.
And she stays in touch with you and is available, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Pass the witness, Judge.
All right, Mr. Michelson?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Cook, has any individual come forward acknowledging they are the father of the child?
No, sir.
Has any friends or family members come forward identifying a potential father?
No, sir.
Okay, pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Ms. Kincaid.
Thank you, Your Honor. Is the child up to date on her medical and dental?
Yes, she is.
Okay, and she's recently changed schools, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And how is she doing?
She's doing very well. Her new school is going to assess her for speech therapy. I believe they should be getting that done before they leave for the Thanksgiving holiday. But other than that, she is doing very well. And she did switch placements and is thriving in that new placement.
Okay, and where is that placement?
That placement is the foster home in Canyon. She was previously in Amarillo.
Okay, and she just changed homes because the previous placement moved and we wanted to keep her close to her mother for visits. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, so it wasn't any kind of behavioral issue or anything like that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and is she having visits with her mom?
Yes, I believe they've had one in person and had to do a couple virtual due to some illness.
Okay, but have the visits gone well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, would there be an issue with increased visits if it could work with the schedules and the traveling?
I would not have an issue with that.
Okay, and is the child on any medication?
She is not.
Okay, and is she in therapy or any kind of counseling?
Not at this time.
Okay, and it seems like, is that something that she could benefit from, or is she doing well?
She's doing very well.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Okay, anyone else have further questions for Ms. Cook?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone else have any further witnesses?
We would rest, Your Honor.
All right.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Michelson, recommendations?
I'd recommend that the child, well, first of all, I recommend that department retain a temporary managing conservatorship, and that the child remain in the current placement, and that visitation be increased pending an agreement between the department and the mother.
Okay. All right.
It might have been me that you wanted a recommendation from, Judge, but I agree with
Oh,
Mr.
I'm
Michelson.
sorry. You're right. I don't know why I said Mr. Michelson.
Oh, sorry about that.
Ms. Kincaid.
He was ready to make her. I
Yeah.
agree with Mr. Michelson's recommendation.
Oh, then we didn't waste any time there, did we? Okay.
No,
then.
Judge.
Costa, anything to add?
Nothing to add. We also agree.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that. All right, okay, then I will continue the department's temporary managing conservator, continue the current placement. I will order that service on Jason Childress be allowed by posting. I will order the ICPC home study on Ms. Tucker, and I will order that Ms. Tucker's visitation be increased. I'll set the next review hearing for March 8th, 2024. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance to see exactly what time we'll have that hearing. All right, I apologize for the delay in this case. This has been kind of a wild morning. So anyway, we will stand in recess. Everybody have a good weekend.